Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift just made a move after their wedding that has fans convinced something much bigger is coming. It wasn't another celebration or a honeymoon surprise. Instead, reports claim a baby could be on the way, and one unexpected detail has everyone talking. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got married on July 3 at Madison Square Garden, in front of roughly 1,000 guests, in a ceremony officiated by their friend Adam Sandler. The couple's friend Adam Sandler, who gave Kelce a cameo in Happy Gilmore 2 last year, served as their officiant. George Stephanopoulos, who was in the room, described it to ABC News afterward. Vows, real, vulnerable, everything you'd hope for. Swift wore Christian Dior haute couture. Kelce wore white. The venue got turned into what Stephanopoulos called a garden inside the garden. And 2 blocks away, the Empire State Building lit up blue for them. That part everybody expects. Weddings get planned, venues get rented, guests get flown in. What nobody expected came right after. Within days of the ceremony, reports started surfacing that the couple had brought a dog into their lives. Not a confirmed adoption, not an Instagram announcement, just a dog spotted with them in photos. And that was enough to set the entire internet off. According to reporting from Yahoo, people are speculating that the two might already be practicing for a baby with a dog, and a dog was seen with the couple in some pictures, which raised fans' eyebrows. That's the move. That's the weird one. Not a mansion, not an announcement. A dog dropped into their world exactly when the whole planet is watching for baby signals. A source close to the situation put it plainly to Radar Online. Friends have smiled at the rumors because Taylor and Travis have always talked about building a life together. And whether or not the dog is officially theirs, people around them see the excitement as reflecting a couple settling into married life and looking toward the future. Another insider went further, telling the outlet those closest to them believe caring for a pet would be a natural step before having children, and they have both embraced the idea of creating a family home together. Now, here's why this landed the way it did. This isn't the first time the dog as baby rehearsal theory has been floated about this couple. It happened before the wedding, too. Outlets ran stories suggesting Swift and Kelce had quietly welcomed a new family member in the lead up to the ceremony, right as they were also reportedly hunting for a bigger, quieter home. So when it happened again, right after the vows, right after the rings, it didn't read as a coincidence to anyone paying attention. It read as a pattern, and the timing genuinely is strange when you line it up. This is a couple that, by every account, does nothing by accident. The wedding itself was run like a military operation. Locked phones, non-disclosure agreements, an 18-wheeler convoy delivering material under tarps for days before the event. People inside the industry were stunned at how airtight it was. So when a detail as small as a dog leaks out immediately after the ceremony, in a household known for controlling every single leak, it stops looking like an accident and starts looking like a signal. Because remember, this is exactly what happens before people have kids. Couples get a dog. It's a rehearsal. It's a way of testing whether you can keep something alive that depends entirely on you. And for 2 of the most watched people on the planet, a low-key pet story is about as close to practicing for parenthood as they can get without triggering a media storm. But the dog isn't the only piece. Almost in the same breath as the pet reports, a second story broke, one about the honeymoon. Most couples fly out the morning after the reception. Swift and Kelce didn't. According to TMZ's reporting, picked up by multiple outlets, Swift and Kelce, who tied the knot at Madison Square Garden on Friday, July 3, 2026, are briefly putting their honeymoon on hold to attend the July 11 wedding of his former teammate, New York Giants wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. That's a full week of downtime between I do and takeoff, spent not resting, not traveling, but going to somebody else's wedding in California. On its own, that's just loyalty to a friend. But paired with the dog story, paired with a couple that everyone already suspects is fast-tracking toward a family, that week of stillness reads differently. It's a week where 2 of the most photographed humans alive chose to stay stateside, stay close to home, and, as multiple sources noted, stay quiet about their honeymoon plans at all. TMZ themselves floated that it might be a decoy, noting it's always possible that such reports are a decoy to throw off the paparazzi, while the pop star and chief star jet off to a honeymoon. But that's far from clear at this point. So within a week of getting married, the internet had 2 things to chew on: a mystery dog that fans were calling a baby trial run, and a honeymoon delay that didn't match the couple's usual instinct to disappear the second the cameras look away. Add those together, and you get exactly the kind of moment that makes a pregnancy rumor catch fire. Not because anyone confirmed anything. Nobody did. But because the behavior lined up with what people expect to see right before an announcement like that. And that's really the heart of this story. It's not one big reveal. It's a string of small, oddly specific choices, a pet, a delayed trip, a pause in the routine, that on their own mean nothing, but together, in the week after the biggest wedding of the year, mean everything to a fan base that has spent years reading every frame of Taylor Swift's life for clues. So the question becomes, is this actually about a baby? Or is it something else entirely? A house, a career pivot, a life reset that just happens to look like baby prep from the outside? To answer that, we need to go back to what was already being said about this couple's plans before the wedding ever happened. Because it turns out, this rumor didn't start after the vows. It started months before. Here's something that changes how you read everything that's happened since July 3rd. The pregnancy speculation around Taylor Swift didn't begin after her wedding. It had already reached a fever pitch months before she and Kelce ever walked down that aisle at Madison Square Garden. Back in the spring, a viral clip started circulating, slow-motion footage of Swift in a form-fitting dress, hand resting near her midsection. The caption on the post read simply that it was becoming harder and harder for Taylor Swift to hide her secret. According to reporting on the incident, the post used slow-motion video of the pop star, but didn't elaborate on what the secret was, with the video showing Swift in a form-fitting dress with her hand near her midsection, fueling rumors that she's pregnant with Kelce's baby. The video alone racked up over 6 million views. No confirmation, no denial, just a clip, a caption, and an internet ready to run with it. That wasn't an isolated moment either. Around the same time, other posts started making even bolder claims. One widely shared post declared outright that Swift was, in the poster's words, showing signs of rapid weight gain and disappearing from public view, and connected that directly to what people believed was a rushed wedding timeline. None of it was ever verified. As one outlet covering the phenomenon put it plainly, those claims remain speculation with no confirmation from Swift or Kelce. But by that point, the theory had already spread across TikTok and X, and even AI chatbots were reportedly serving it up as fact when people asked. This is important because it tells you the frenzy around the dog and the delayed honeymoon didn't come out of nowhere. It landed on top of a fan base that had already spent months primed to see a pregnancy in literally anything. A hand near the stomach, a missed appearance, a change in wardrobe. Every single one of those got run through the rumor mill long before the wedding rings were even on. And Swift's own music didn't exactly cool things down. Fans had been picking apart her most recent album for clues about her future with Kelce for over a year. And one track in particular kept getting flagged. On The Life of a Showgirl, there's a song called Whitlit that many listeners believe references marriage, family, and children, and many fans believe was inspired directly by the tight end she was about to marry. Whether or not that reading is accurate, it gave the pregnancy theory something concrete to point to. Not just body language in a paparazzi photo, but actual lyrics, in her own words, about wanting the family life. So by the time the wedding rolled around, there were already two competing stories running in parallel. One, Swift and Kelce are a couple deeply focused on their careers, with Kelce gearing up for another NFL season, and Swift reportedly already back in the studio working on new music. 2. Swift and Kelce are a couple quietly building toward parenthood, dropping hints through pets, houses, and song lyrics that they're closer to a family announcement than anyone realizes. Here's where it gets interesting though, because insiders close to the couple have actually pushed back on the idea that a baby is imminent, even while confirming that the subject is very much on the table. One report described the couple as facing what it called an impossible dilemma, largely built around security. According to sources cited by Yahoo, Swift and Kelce are reportedly unsure about having children due to security concerns in Swift's world, despite previous statements about wanting a family. Swift has faced real documented threats over the years. Stalkers, obsessive fans crossing lines that most celebrities never have to deal with. And that history apparently weighs heavily on how she thinks about raising a child in public view. Kelce, according to the same reporting, sees it differently. Sources describe him as someone who simply isn't scared of the challenges that come with raising kids under that level of scrutiny. That's a real tension point between two people who are, by every account, deeply in love and fully committed, but who may be approaching the biggest decision of their lives from two very different emotional starting points. One partner weighing years of security threats, the other ready to jump in regardless. A separate insider, speaking to the outlet covering this exact tension, added more texture. Even if the couple ultimately decides they want children, both remain incredibly busy professionally, with Kelce preparing to return for another season with the Kansas City Chiefs after signing an estimated $12 million contract and training camp beginning later this month. That's not a small detail. That's a man about to walk back into an NFL season. Full contact, full travel schedule, at the exact moment fans are convinced his wife might be expecting. And Swift's own calendar isn't clearing up either. The same reporting noted that away from football, Kelce remains involved in numerous business ventures, including restaurant ownership, his growing entertainment career, and hosting the wildly successful New Heights podcast, while Swift continues to dominate the music industry and reportedly remains focused on new creative projects. Sources say that even while planning her wedding, Swift reportedly continued recording music and working on future projects, and is currently developing another album. So you've got two schedules that are on paper absolutely packed. An NFL tight end walking into training camp, a pop star developing her next album. And yet, in the middle of all that, a dog shows up, a honeymoon gets postponed, and the internet decides this is exactly what it looks like right before a family announcement. The honest state of things, according to people close to the couple, is that no firm decision has been made. As one report summarized it, although speculation surrounding babies continues to dominate conversations among fans, those closest to the couple reportedly say no firm decision has been made, but no firm decision and actively preparing are not contradictions. And that's exactly the space this next part of the story lives in. Because while the internet argues about a dog and a delayed flight, there's a much bigger piece of preparation reportedly already underway. A house. If the dog was the small signal, the house is the big one. And this part of the story actually started leaking out weeks before the wedding, which makes it even stranger that it didn't dominate headlines the way it should have. According to a report from Radar Online, cited by multiple outlets in the run-up to the ceremony, Swift and Kelce are already eyeing the next phase of their lives as parents, though they're not in any rush to have a baby just yet. That's not a vague, throwaway line. That's a direct claim about the couple's mindset, straight from a source with reported access to their circle. Celebrity psychic and body language expert Inbal Honigman, speaking to the same outlet, went further, describing what she called the biggest piece of news to come out of the entire situation. In her words, the biggest news to come out of the Swift-Kelce household is a major and unexpected house move, with the couple deciding that, in order to create a calm future and raise a family, they should prioritize their peace and settle in a more secluded location. Now, a body language expert isn't a hard source, but the specifics that came with this claim are what make it worth paying attention to, because they weren't vague. According to the reporting, the couple is considering moving into a new home, designed with family life in mind, complete with space for playgrounds, kiddie pools, and baby sensory rooms equipped with surround sound. That's an extremely specific list for a rumor with no confirmed source behind it. Playgrounds, kiddie pools, sensory rooms. Nobody invents baby sensory room with surround sound as a generic guess. That's the kind of detail that either comes from somewhere real or gets built out of a very deliberate reading of what a young, wealthy, security-conscious couple would actually want in a forever home. And the location angle matters too. The same reporting claimed the couple would likely weigh their respective hometowns as potential places to settle down, but may eventually find themselves on the West Coast, particularly in the Northern California area. West Coast, secluded, away from the two coasts that have chased them with cameras for the better part of a decade. If you're building a life around raising kids away from constant exposure, that's exactly the kind of move you'd make. There's also a career angle baked into this that's easy to miss. Honigman's claim wasn't just about a house, it was about both of them stepping back professionally to make room for it. She said this house emerges as such significant news because it goes hand in hand with an announcement from both Taylor and Travis that they intend to take a step back from their respective careers. That's a big claim, bigger than a pet, bigger than a delayed flight. If true, it would mean the couple isn't just adjusting their calendar for a season. It would mean they're restructuring their entire public lives around whatever comes next. Now, does that line up with what we actually know, partially? Kelce has already signed on for another season and is reportedly heading straight into training camp, which doesn't exactly scream stepping back. Swift, meanwhile, is reportedly deep into a new album. So if a pullback is coming, it hasn't shown up yet in either of their actual schedules. But rumors like this rarely operate on the same timeline as reality. They tend to run ahead of it, picking up on intentions before those intentions show up as actions. And this is where Swift's own history with the subject becomes relevant, because it's not like this is new territory for her. Fans have tracked her comments on wanting kids for over a decade, and the answer has shifted depending on where she was in her life. Back in 2012, in an interview with Marie Claire, she said she wanted a bunch of children running around, minimum 4, adding that the idea of pouring everything you are into another person when you become a parent has always been amazing to her. 2 years after that, she told a different outlet she wasn't even sure kids were in her future anymore. So her position has moved before, and it's moved in both directions, which makes it a little harder to treat any single lyric or quote as a permanent stance. What's changed now, according to the people around her, is the context. She's not single anymore, chasing a career with no clear partner in sight. She's married to a man who has publicly said, in a conversation with his own brother, that he sees kids in their future for sure. That's Kelce's own words, not a source's interpretation. And when you put that alongside the reported house hunt, the reported step back from careers, and the reported dog that's already living with them, you start to see why fans aren't just imagining a connection. They're following an actual trail of breadcrumbs that multiple outlets, independently, have been reporting on for months. But here's the piece that keeps this from being a simple yes: security. It comes up again and again in every single report about this couple's family plans. And it's not a small footnote, it's reportedly the central obstacle standing between them and an actual pregnancy announcement. According to reporting on their wedding planning specifically, security considerations even played a role in the couple's wedding planning, with Madison Square Garden ultimately selected in part because of the level of protection it could provide. If a venue that size with that much infrastructure was chosen partly because it could be locked down, that tells you how seriously this couple thinks about protecting themselves, and by extension, how seriously they think about protecting a child. So the house, the sensory room, the West Coast seclusion, none of that reads as random anymore. It reads as a couple building the exact kind of environment you'd need if you were seriously planning a family and trying to keep that family away from a level of public attention that neither of them has ever really been able to escape. Whether that environment gets used for a baby in the next year or the next 5 is the one thing nobody, not the sources, not the psychics, not the couple themselves, has actually confirmed. What has been confirmed is the timeline pressure both of them are under right now, and that's where the story goes next. Because between an NFL season and an album cycle, the window for any of this to actually happen is a lot smaller than the rumors make it sound. Let's talk about timing, because this is where the pregnancy theory runs into its biggest obstacle, and also where it finds its strongest argument. Kelce is not walking away from football. He's reportedly signed for an estimated $12 million contract, and training camp starts within weeks of the wedding. That's not a man planning to disappear from public life to raise a newborn in seclusion. That's a man about to spend his summer in pads, getting hit by 300-pound linemen, with a season that could run all the way through another Super Bowl push. If a baby announcement is coming, it's coming while Kelce is fully immersed in the most physically demanding stretch of his professional calendar. Swift's side of the schedule isn't any lighter. She's reportedly developing another album, which means studio time, writing sessions, probably the beginning of another rollout cycle. She's also said publicly that she plans to take a break from touring after the Eras tour. But a break from touring is not the same as a break from working. If anything, artists tend to get more productive in the studio precisely when they're not on the road. So on paper, this is two people whose calendars are packed for the next year, with almost zero natural downtime. And yet here's the twist. That's exactly the scenario where couples with resources this deep tend to make family decisions look effortless from the outside, because they have the money and the team to make it work regardless of the schedule. Swift and Kelce aren't planning a pregnancy around daycare pickup times and job flexibility. They're planning it, if they're planning it at all, around a level of privacy and support that almost nobody else on the planet has access to. That's actually part of why the honeymoon delay reads the way it does. Remember, the plan reportedly wasn't to skip the honeymoon. It was to postpone it by exactly 1 week, attend a friend's wedding, and then go all in. According to sources cited by Stylecaster and Yahoo, once the detour to California wraps up, the couple have already finalized their honeymoon plans, which reportedly involve a trip around the world and living completely off the grid. An insider described the plan bluntly: They've been planning this for weeks and have already informed friends and family that they will be off the grid during this time. And unless there is an emergency, they want to limit outside contact. Off the grid. No outside contact except emergencies. For 3 full weeks. That is an enormous amount of total privacy. For 2 of the most photographed people on Earth to suddenly claim, right after a wedding that's already fueled months of baby speculation. According to the reported itinerary, the trip starts in the Bahamas, described as a favorite spot of theirs that allows them to stay in their own bubble before moving on to Europe, with stops planned in Italy's Lake Como region, the French Riviera, and reportedly Croatia, tied to Kelce's own family roots on his mother's side. From there, the route allegedly continues to a private island in Greece, then across to Singapore, Australia, Fiji, and finally Hawaii. Timed so Kelce can be back for training camp. That's not a honeymoon. That's a farewell tour to their old life, if the family rumors are accurate. 3 weeks off the grid, across multiple continents, with almost zero press access. The exact kind of window where a couple could quietly confirm a pregnancy to close family, or decide together that now is finally the time to try, without a single photographer catching wind of it until they're ready to say something. And that's really the tension sitting underneath this entire story. Every piece of hard information, the contract, the training camp, the album, the touring break, points to 2 people whose professional lives are running at full speed with no signs of slowing down. But every soft signal, the dog, the delayed honeymoon, the reported house with a baby sensory room, the reported willingness from both of them to eventually step back, points somewhere else entirely. It's worth remembering, too, that this couple has pulled off exactly this kind of contradiction before. They ran one of the most heavily surveilled relationships in modern celebrity history. Every game appearance, every outfit, every hand gesture picked apart in real time for 3 straight years, and somehow still managed to plan and execute a wedding so airtight that guests had to sign non-disclosure agreements and hand over their phones just to get in. If any 2 people on the planet have the operational skill to plan a pregnancy announcement, or even a pregnancy itself, entirely outside the public eye, it's these 2. So maybe the schedule doesn't actually contradict the rumor. Maybe it's the perfect cover for it. A packed football season and an album cycle are exactly the kind of noisy, headline-generating backdrop that could let a much quieter, much more personal development happen off to the side, unnoticed, for months, the same way the house hunting apparently did before anyone caught wind of it. Either way, one thing has become clear the deeper you look at this. This isn't a couple drifting through their newlywed months without a plan. Every report from every angle describes 2 people who talk about family with intention, who've apparently already discussed timing, location, security, and career sacrifice in real conversations with people close to them. Whether or not a baby is coming in the next 12 months, the infrastructure for one, the house, the privacy plan, the eventual career pullback, appears to already be under construction. Which brings us to where things actually stand right now, in the days since the wedding, with the dog already home, the delayed honeymoon already underway, and an entire fan base still watching every photo for the one detail that confirms what they've been speculating about for months. So here's where all of this actually lands. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are married. That part is settled, done, official. Vows exchanged, rings on. Adam Sandler's officiating credentials permanently cemented in pop culture history. What comes next is the part nobody has locked down, including by every account, the couple themselves. The dog is real, or at least the photos are. Nobody from either camp has confirmed ownership, breed, name, or purpose. It's just there, in pictures, doing exactly what a new pet does to a fan base primed to see a nursery in every empty room. The honeymoon delay is real too, confirmed by multiple outlets, tied to a genuine previously scheduled commitment to a friend's wedding in California. And the 3-week, off-the-grid world tour that's supposedly coming after it is, as of now, still just that reported. Detailed, consistent across multiple sources, but not confirmed by Swift or Kelce directly. What is confirmed in their own words and actions over the past year is intent. Kelce telling his brother he sees kids in their future. Swift writing lyrics. Fans connect directly to family and marriage. Sources close to both of them describing a couple that's already looked at houses with sensory rooms and playgrounds built in. None of that is proof of a pregnancy. All of it is proof of a plan. And that distinction actually matters more than the rumor itself. Because what this wedding week revealed isn't a secret pregnancy. Nobody has that confirmation, and the people closest to the couple have said as much. What it revealed is a couple whose next chapter is already being assembled in pieces, in public view, whether they mean for it to be or not. A pet, a pause in the schedule, a house search that leaked out months before anyone was watching for it. Every one of those pieces is small on its own. Together, they're the clearest signal yet that family isn't a someday conversation for these two anymore. It's an active one. For now, Kelce heads into another NFL season with a 9-figure legacy still very much unfinished, chasing another ring with the Chiefs while his personal life gets picked apart one photo at a time. Swift heads back into the studio, working on whatever comes after Showgirl, carrying the same scrutiny she's carried since she was a teenager, except now with a wedding ring and a husband who's just as famous as she is. Somewhere in between training camp reps and studio sessions, there's reportedly a honeymoon waiting. 3 weeks, several continents, and a promise to stay off the grid that will be tested the second a single paparazzi photo leaks from a beach in the Bahamas or a villa in Croatia. And somewhere in the middle of all of that sits the actual question everyone's been chasing since the ceremony ended. Not whether they want a family, every report agrees they do, eventually, but whether the timeline the internet has already written for them matches the one the two of them are actually living. Right now, nobody outside their inner circle knows that answer. Not the psychics, not the tabloids, not the fans dissecting a dog photo for the 10th time this week. What we do know is that a couple who spent years being watched for every move just made one. A small, quiet, 4-legged one. And it was enough to convince half the internet that the biggest announcement of their lives is already in motion. Whether that turns out to be true is still, for now, a story that belongs entirely to the two of them. Sources: CNN, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding bash. What you missed. Yahoo: Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce's baby plans revealed. As the couple faces an impossible dilemma just days after their wedding, the news: Taylor Swift's video with Travis Kelce falsely linked to pregnancy rumors. Yahoo: surprising update on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's baby plans. The Blast: surprising update on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's baby plans. Stylecaster: are Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce having a baby after their wedding? Yahoo: Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's baby plans revealed less than a month before wedding. Stylecaster: the real reason Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce's honeymoon is on hold. Just days after their wedding. Yahoo: the real reason Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's honeymoon is on hold. Just days after their wedding. Men's Journal: Taylor Swift honeymoon plans with Travis Kelce. Where are they going next? https://www.mensjournal.com/entertainment. Taylor Swift Travis Kelce honeymoon plans.